I'm going to take a moment to come on here and be real with y'all as I always do because I need y'all to understand black people's pain when white people sympathize and empathize with racists, right? You don't understand it. A white friend of mine just texted me. He said that he saw my video and in his own mind he's conflicted too, and he's trying to make sense of how he should feel about the situation that just happened, and everything like that, right? You need to understand a little bit about me, right? I think that I have an almost obligation to speak on topics like this because of my background, right? Like, I grew up with white people. Y'all don't understand the extent that that goes to. Like, there were less than 5 black boys the entire time I was in grade school, from pre-K to senior year of high school. Most of the time, I was the only one, right? When I was finding my sense of identity or who I was going to hang out with or my friend group as a child, my options were white. There was no black family that was in the same neighborhood as my options were white, right? And it was not an issue. I love my white friends. I was just hanging out with a bunch of them from high school last Christmas, right? I love my white friends. But you cannot imagine the pain I feel in my heart, in my core, when I see people that I consider my fucking brothers because they've acted brotherly my entire life. They sympathize with a racist. You have no idea the tears I have to hold back as a grown man when I see people that I love and I care about and I would go out of my way for. Like empathize with the racist. Do you know how heartbreaking that is? What I'm realizing here is that there's an issue with people's threshold as to what qualifies as racism. A lot of white people right now that are calling him a man of God and saying that he wasn't racist. Show me the proof. Your threshold of racism starts at violence or calls to violence. And just because that man wasn't on the microphone saying exterminate all the black people now, you don't qualify that as racism. That's a you problem. That's a definition problem, right? Racism is when you see somebody of a certain race and your immediate judgment, your immediate opinion of that person is negative. You don't have to wish them a negative life. You don't have to wish them misfortune. It's that immediate opinion, that immediate thought in your head when you see that person and all you know is their race. That is racism. And then you make predictions and assumptions about everybody else that looks like that person, right? And by my understanding, sympathizing and empathizing with those people who do that, whether they're alive or not, is in a way agreeing with that dumbass ideology or saying that it's okay to have that dumbass ideology. So again, when I'm looking at people that I love, that I care about, that I would go out of my way for, that I wish the best for, and they didn't vote for Donald Trump, they're not MAGA, right? But then they sympathize and empathize with this guy. I think we've all seen the quotes and videos by now, and I don't need to keep reiterating the words and rhetoric this man used. I think it's safe to say that man damn near hated black people. I think it's safe to say when that man saw a group of black people in a space, immediate negative opinion. That's racism. So yeah, it breaks my heart when I think about all the memories and the good times and the happy times and the core memories that I've had with these white people that are sympathizing with a racist and arguing with me and other black people saying that he's not. The same way y'all went and told Joey Swoll that he did nothing wrong. You are not the victim. And the victim doesn't have to be mutilated on the street to be a victim. It's not hitting y'all. His words and his rhetoric and what he's pushing for and what he's advocating for, it's not hitting y'all as hard and as heavy as it's hitting us. And my whole life, they've called me one of the good ones, as fucked up as that is. So I get this weird pass from white people, right? But then I literally still feel the differences in what it's like to be a black man and a black person in America, right? I understand it. I see it. I feel it. I peep it, right? And then I see somebody advocating for the same bullshit that myself and other people that look like me still have to deal with in 2025. He tragically loses his life, and now people that I love want me to empathize with him because he threw some scriptures amongst his hateful rhetoric. I explained this to my friend as what white allies are asking from black people right now. If we use y'all's logic, you're saying that because the slave owner had a Bible in his left hand, the slaves should have empathy for him, even though he had a whip in his right hand and he was beating them with it. You slap Christian, you slap scripture over anything, and the actions and the words that are still a part of that human being are just ignored. Yeah, that hurts. What y'all are asking black people to do right now hurts a lot. So with all that said, in a way, you could say that I'm y'all. When you take away the physical things, obviously, when you take that out of the conversation, out of the equation, in a way, you could say that I'm y'all. I grew up surrounded by y'all. That was all I saw. There was no other culture for me to implement myself in. It was that culture since a kid, since a youngin, since like 2, 3, 4, 5 and up, right? Like, so you take away the physicalities, like I'm y'all. I grew up in the same world y'all did, right? So many black people have called me whitewashed. To this day, I don't readily consider myself a part of the culture. I love my black brothers and sisters with a passion, but I've met plenty of black people that just call me whitewashed and write me off because of that. Or they say, oh, you're not really black because of the way I talk or the way I carry myself and everything like that, right? So in a sense, you could say that I am y'all, right? But then, when we do implement the physical part of it into the equation, and we evaluate CK's words while he was here on Earth, now it's a whole different approach. We grew up in the same environment, same culture, same background, same memories, same school, same friend group, same outings, same venue, same vacations. I've been to the beach with my white friends, and I ended up in a Jason Aldean concert. Like, I was right there with y'all, smiling ear to ear, happy to be there, right? But then, when it's time for me to be a black man amongst y'all, now it's different. Now you're asking me to sympathize with people that wish negative things on people like me. How do you do that? How do you spend, what am I, 29? So how do you spend the last, let's say we met in high school, right? So how do you spend the last decade saying we homies, saying we cool, saying we buddies? But then you're asking me to have empathy for this shit. You can't look at me and make it make sense because you know it doesn't make sense. And I honestly think that you should be ashamed for expecting us to be empathetic to the man who said empathy was weakness.